Hello and welcome to the show. I am your host, Paul Britton. This is Real to Real Talk. It's just a show where we talk about movies, and we have movies to talk about today. That's right. We're going to just be doing movie reviews, pretty straightforward and simple, with the first one being Moana 2. Oh boy. So, backstory on Moana. uh Lin-Manuel Miranda teamed up with a couple other folks to do the songs on the original Moana. uh that the first Moana is easily, and it shouldn't be this easy, but really is easily my favorite uh Disney animated movie of the new sort of century. If you consider everything from like Meet the Robinsons on, we'll set that as a demarcation point. Um and so Frozen and Encanto, some really 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 great, some really 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 successful movies. Moana's my favorite, by far. And I would say 80% of that is because of the songs. I mean, the songs are just, you know, "You're Welcome" with Maui, and Shiny, and the Moana theme. I don't remember what that song's called, but I am Moana. Anyway, look, you don't need me singing. That's not what you're here for. You're here to hear me talk about Moana 2. And guess what? They did not get the band back together. Um, this is a movie where they decided, hey, let's make a streaming sequel, like a limited series. We'll put it on Disney Plus. A bazillion people will watch it. And then people stopped buying streamers just to watch one show, and people started going back to movie theaters, and they realized, oh crap, we can make a heck of a lot more money if we actually turn this into a movie. So Moana 2. And and because of the original intent and because of the shift, the original directors didn't come along. The songwriters were already the songwriters had already been picked for the show, and it didn't make sense to go back and be like, oh, we're gonna let's go script. And also Lin-Manuel Miranda was working on the Mufasa movie. So they did not get the band back together. And if the original Moana is on a scale of 1 to 10 about an 80 million, the bar is really high for Moana 2. And so that's the jumping off point here. Now, everybody who's watched this show before knows I love Disney movies, and I am super deferential to them. I accept them for what they are, and for what they present, and I love them for it, because what they are and what they present for me usually is just awesomeness and things that I love. That's really what it boils down to, is that I do genuinely love these these movies. And I sat so I went over Thanksgiving weekend, obviously, because that's when it was released, and the theater was pretty packed. There were lots of kids there. I had a smile on my face the second I sat down. I had a smile on my face throughout the movie, and I could not tell you a single song. I could not tell you a single song that happens in this movie. I know, like, the general conceit of the movie is that Moana has been wayfinding, and in in her attempts to just kind of connect with the ocean and she's clearly looking for other people, you know, looking for other inhabited islands. In her attempts to do that, she finds some hints that tell her where she needs to look, and it uncovers some additional stories that have been left unspoken about for ages within their culture, and they and so this is her new adventure. It's no longer to put the heart of Tafiti away. It is the goal of finding people. Unfortunately for Moana, there is a vengeful, spiteful, jealous god who doesn't like people and has hidden the island that kind of acts as the central magnet for people within the sea to go find them. So what happens is we we have another adventure. But this time we bring people along to help because she can't do this one alone. That's fine. Um, I couldn't tell you any of their names. You know, again, a problem. You know, I, Hey Hey is along for the ride. He's a chicken. Pua is along for the ride. He's a pig. Maui comes along for the ride, and Moana's there. There are three other people. Uh, they're mildly interesting, and they have a wonderful team building montage that I did enjoy. Uh, but beyond it, but it feels like they're there for the team building montage. Um, and that's that's where that's what that's why they bring people along, is so they can have a team building montage, and that's not really a good enough reason to bring people along, in my opinion. uh the, a lot of the criticism that you'll find out on out in the general ether is that this movie is kind of derivative of the first one. I don't have a problem with that. Yes, is it mildly derivative? It is. It is mildly derivative, but it's different enough. The problem is that as happens with sequels, there's just a need for more new. And it's like, sometimes a sequel can just kind of be like, hey, we're getting the band back together. And if you want to bring along one or two new guys, okay. But we've got like five new guys. We got the three guys on the boat. There's a new uh demi villain along the lines of the giant crab in the Shiny song, and there's the big bad god character that is Tafiti's replacement from the original. And if you just do the two bad guys, guess what? That's okay. Like, the team building montage isn't that great, and if we lose the team building montage, I don't know that anybody is disappointed there. I think that, that's just my feeling. And much like most sequels, it decided it. Not most, but a lot of sequels, it decided it had to be a little more jokey this time. Possible exceptions to the I have to be more jokey sequels. Godfather 2 and the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Those are far less jokey than their original. But sequels that felt the need to be way more jokey than the first one. Just about every other sequel, and that, hey, look, that's fine. It's just part of being a sequel, but it if it's obvious, you got to talk about it. So, you know, I you know, am I bagging on this? Yes. Did I still love it? Like I said up front, I smiled throughout, and yeah, I did. I love it. No. Did I really like it? Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was perfectly wonderful. It's everything I want from. It's the basic everything I want from a Disney animated. It gave me the extreme basic of everything I want from a Disney animated movie. It wasn't terrible or bad, or it just felt like a sequel, and which ultimately usually not a great thing to do. So for Moana 2, I got to give a rating. And the yes, Godfather 3 was a big joke. For Moana 2, here at a real talk, we give tacos instead of stars. So and if we feel like a movie deserves a little bit of extra, rather than doing a half a taco, we add guac. Why? Because nobody eats a half a fucking taco. As I was saying earlier, like the original Moana, it would be 5 tacos plus guac. No questions asked. The Moana 2 gets 3 tacos, and I am adding guac. Why? Because it's a Disney animated movie, and it's nonsensical to not give it guac to me. Look, just give me the Disney animated movies. If you want to see me not give a Disney animated movie guac, come around for the Mufasa movie, and I can almost guarantee you that movie's getting 0 guac. The next movie we're gonna do had a limited release, but it's now available on Netflix, and the movie is called Piano Lesson. It's an August Wilson play adaptation, available on Netflix. And who did the adaptation? None other than Denzel Washington's kid. Oh, crud. I knew I was going to forget which Denzel Washington kid gave us this. But the thing that you need to know is that it's Denzel Washington's kid directing his brother, John David Washington, Malcolm Washington, directing his brother John David Washington, plus Samuel L. Jackson and Danielle Deadwyler. And if you're familiar with August Wilson and his plays and the adaptations of his plays, I'll just hit you with two. The kind of the two most recent. We've got Fences, which was an Academy Award winning movie for. Oh my goodness, Fences. Come on. For Viola Davis. And Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, which was a Academy Award winning nominated movie for also Viola Davis, as well as Chadwick Boseman. That was his last movie. And both of these movies or both of those plays, as well as this one, the Piano Lesson, are part of August Wilson's the Pittsburgh cycle, because he's got 10 movies. It's also sometimes called the Century Cycle. He's got 10 movies, all plays. He's got 10 plays, all taking place different decades throughout the century, the 20th century, and 9 of the 10 taking place in Pittsburgh, and the other one being in Chicago. And so far, I loved Fences. I love Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and the Piano Lesson is no less endearing. And by endearing, I don't mean like, oh, you're going to walk away feeling good about yourself, but you are going to walk away feeling like you've had an interesting and eye-opening experience that hopefully makes you a better person. And I'm not even kidding about that. Hopefully opens your eyes to things that are going on, that went on. And this movie takes place during the 1930s. John David Washington plays a young man from the from the Deep South. I don't know if they ever established exactly which state, but it's not good. His character's name is Boy Willie, and he has brought his best friend Lyman up with him to Pittsburgh to sell a truck full of watermelons. and also to get a piano that his sister, who now lives in Pittsburgh, has in her possession that their grandfather, when he was a slave, had carved into the piano, basically their family history. A portrait at the request of the slave owner at the time. He carved a portrait of his wife and their son, and but he also added like their entire family lineage, as far as he knew it and could remember it. In addition, he got in trouble for doing the extra, but and part of the reason why he did that was because his master traded his wife and son for the piano, and after they were gone for a while, the the slave master's wife started missing them, and so she wanted to see them, and so and so and sh because she's at the piano all the time, it was the place to put it. Um, this display is literally about uh dealing with ancestral trauma. That's what this play is about. And how that trauma you can actually draw strength from the trauma. There are supernatural overtones. So basically, the guy, the ancestor of the slave owner, um, passed away by falling into a well. It's never really established if Boy Willie did it or not. There are heavy hints that he did do it, and the ghost of that man is starting to appear at the house now in Pittsburgh where Boy Willie is, but also where this piano is. And it's never, it's not clear, is he visiting for the piano? Is he visiting for Boy Willie as retribution? Or is it just that these two families are so generationally tied to each other that that's what's followed them. Boy Willie and Danielle Deadweiler plays Bernice, Boy Willie's sister. Their uncle Doker is the one that owns the house in Pittsburgh, and Bernice has taken to avoiding the piano at all times. Their mother recently passed away, and there's just a lot of flashbacks. There's a lot of wrestling with the past and trying to deal with the present while hopefully laying a foundation for the future. And everybody, you know, it's wonderful because you have these three characters, Doker, Boy Willie, and Bernice. Boy Willie is I'm setting up a foundation for the future. Everything is going to be great as long as I can sell this piano, get this money, buy this land, and set up for the future. Doker is 100%. I just try to live in the present. I just try to make sure that day to day I'm getting through. And Bernice is just constantly struggling with grappling with the past. And so it's the interplay of these three characters that is just absolutely captivating and fascinating. And this movie has been getting Oscar buzz. It deserves every single ounce of Oscar buzz. My understanding is that Netflix has been dumping all of their Oscar capital into a movie that I did a couple weeks ago with Kristen, Emilia Perez, which is just not even in the same stratosphere, not even in the same ballpark, not even like this is just such a vastly superior movie on literally every level. And it's a shame. It's a shame that they're not dumping more into this, because at the very least it would get 3 nominations, supporting actor and actress for Samuel L. Jackson and Daniel Detweiler and John David Washington for lead actor. Because that's how solid these performances are. It's so good. I highly, highly recommend this one. But ultimately, as a movie, so let's just as a movie, it feels like a play. You know, it's it's obvious that this was a play. It all takes place in one location, not just one house, but like one spot in the house. You know, but also because the piano's always there, it makes sense, and you feel that and you understand that. Um, and honestly, the everything that happens, all the drama of the first 2 acts and the first half of the third act build up to a point where they, you know, they need to figure out what to do with this ghost that's in their house, and that is what when the movie is just like, holy shit, this is so good. But it still feels like a play. I'm gonna go ahead and for tacos plus guac. Yeah, it was that I was gonna do 4 tacos, but I just realized, man, that ending is so good. 4 tacos plus guac. The last movie that I'm going to look at is Dear Santa from the Farley Brothers, starring Jack Black, and it's streaming on Paramount Plus. Now, there was a time where if you said, "Hey, the Farley Brothers are coming out with a movie," I would have just said, "All right, stop right there. I'm going." You know, Dumb and Dumber. Are you kidding me? Yeah. There's something about Mary. Are you kidding me? Yeah. They were, you know, the Judd Apatows, and by the way, before the Farley Brothers, it was Zucker, Abramson, and but the Farley Brothers in the 90s were like the comedy royalty. Like they just everything they made was amazing. There was also a time where if you put Jack Black in a movie, I'm going to it and I'm excited and I know I'm going to like the Jack Black parts of the movie. 50% of that statement carries through in Dear Santa. Dear Santa is a story about a kid with dyslexia who writes a letter to Santa, but when he writes Dear Santa, he writes Dear Satan. And when he puts the letter in the mail, it is delivered to hell. And Jack Black, a demon in hell, sorry, hashtag spoiler alert, he's not actually Satan. Jack Black finds the letter and decide and accepts the invitation to come and visit the kid. And the conceit of this movie just feels like a Farley Brother movie, just completely politically incorrect, completely bonkers, and super fun. Unfortunately, everything doesn't follow the conceit. I did love Jack Black in this though. Jack so Jack Black as the demon who's trying to convince this kid that he's actually Santa, and then the kid eventually finding out that he's Satan. And problem one, the kid is not good. Like, just flat out, there's no way around this. The kid is the kid is like in Bad Santa, the Merman kid is not a good actor. He's not good, but like that's okay. Because it's more amusing that he is not good and that he's just kind of walking through this movie. This kid needs to be good and he is not. He just I am glad that they found the kid that had the look of what they were looking for. Maybe just go ahead and take a cuter kid that can act, because this just didn't work at all. And it just felt like Jack Black dragging this kid through these scenes. It's like, what's going on? Yeah, it just just over the top, having no idea where to be or what to be doing with himself at any moment. Oi, 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 oi. Secondly, they put a subplot in this, and so the kid is new to the town where he lives, and the parents are going through marital problems because of something bad that happened in the prior place where they lived. And this is a thing that hangs over the movie. And then they reveal it, and it's like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Like, who let you just go through with this? And like Curly Sue, because Curly Sue sucked as an actress, worse than Curly Sue, like so much worse than Curly Sue. Like, who let you do this? Like, no, this surprise is not okay, and it's way too fucking big for this movie. And no, and then and so the whole conceit of the movie is that the demon needs the kid to make 3 wishes so that he can then have the kid's soul. And he makes so much worse than Phantom Menace. He makes a decision to save his final wish. But because he tells Santa what he wants in his letter to the demon, the demon, he says, "Oh, well, you still have a 3rd wish," and it's no. Now, that being said, there are going to be people that like this movie, and I wish them well, and I congratulate them for liking this movie. For me, I loved Jack Black in it, and I disliked just about everything else going on in it. The wonderful thing about the Farrelly brothers is that they are funny about mean things without being too mean. And the where the Farrelly brothers, went downhill was when they started to just be mean and lost the fact that they're being funny in mean situations. And this isn't quite mean, but it also, like, as a Christmas movie, it's called Dear Santa. You need way more heart in this. And I know that the big twist, which I'm not going to reveal, it was supposed to be the source of the heart of this movie, but it's just like, what? No, no. So I'm giving this two tacos. Dear Santa gets 2 tacos. All right. Blair keeps asking. He asked, was the kid worse than the Curly Sue kid? Way worse than the Curly Sue kid, and worse than the Phantom Menace kid. And first of all, I will not tolerate Jake Lloyd hate on my podcast, mostly because that role really fucked him up because he got so much Jake Lloyd hate. But also, he was hired because he could do one thing really, really well, and like George Lucas literally said this, that he could see, that Jake Lloyd could get mad and be genuinely mad in acting. And there's one scene where he has to be mad, and it's a great scene, and it totally works. And it's like, okay, well, George, next time don't hire a kid just because he has the range of I do mad well. So that, that's to fight back on the Phantom Menace. And Blair says, I don't hate him. He says, I don't hate Jake Lloyd. So we're just going to say Blair does not hate Jake Lloyd. Unless you're, if you wanted to throw out worse than Hayden Christensen because he's an adult, I would say actually Hayden Christensen was worse than this kid, like worse cast than this kid. So there. Hey, that's it. That's all I got for you this week. I believe next week is a pretty light release week. I'm hoping that there are a couple of, award contenders that can sneak into the theaters this weekend. But you'll see me, because worst case scenario is I have like a half dozen streamers that I haven't watched that I will bang out if I don't find something to go out to the theaters to do. But you'll see me here next week. Thanks for joining me. This is Real Talk. I am Paul Britton. I hope to see